There are three big Social Security changes coming to Social Security in 2025. Take a look at number 3 right here. Some Social Security recipients will have benefits withheld in 2025. You're not going to want to miss that. I'll go over the other 2 changes as well. And Bernie Sanders hopping on stage talking about Social Security, the need for increases of $200 per month in his Social Security Expansion Act. You're not going to want to miss that video of Bernie Sanders.
Half of our seniors are trying to get by on $30,000 a year. When I talk about anxiety and stress, half of older workers between 55 and 65 have virtually no retirement savings at all. And then you hear people talking about cutting Social Security. And the second thing you do is you raise benefits by $2,400.
I'll play you the full video clip of what he says and give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So this generation is the most anxious about Social Security benefits, and it's not boomers. So if it's not the baby boomers, which generation is it? So even though Social Security has been paying retirement benefits uninterrupted for more than 80 years, Americans still fret over its future. A new Gallup poll found that 80% of US adults under the age of 62 are worried about Social Security and will not be available when they are eligible to receive it. So the survey was of 5,149 adults conducted late last year and released earlier this month, found that among those ages 50 to 61, 81% worried about Social Security. That's 72%. That's up from 72% in 2023. So can you take a guess of which generation that is? So what it's talking about here, we could go over the different ages. So 18 to 21, 71% are worried, 30 to 39, 80% are worried, 40 to 49, 86% are worried, and 50 to 61, 81% are worried. So the generation that is worried most is going to be Gen Xers, born between 1965 and 1980, make up most of the 40 to 49-year-olds and most of the 50 to 61-year-old group. Although baby boomers were not included in the above survey, probably because many are already retired and collecting Social Security. So looks like Gen Xers, this group right here, which are going to retire probably in the next 10 years or so, on the higher end and on the lower end here of the low 50s. So that's the group that's most worried about Social Security, and with good reason, because a lot of changes are happening to Social Security, but not for the better. We seem to have Social Security running dry in just a decade, and not a single politician is doing anything about it besides talking. So we're going to get into this Bernie Sanders video. Before I do, just want to also point out here, 3 big Social Security changes coming in 2025 may surprise many Americans. So I'm going to get into that article, those 3 big changes. As I mentioned, Social Security benefits could be withheld from certain Social Security recipients. That's number 3 on the list. So I'm going to get into that in a moment. But first, let's take a listen to Bernie Sanders.
It's the same old story. Yeah, we got in the richest country in the history of the world, 25% of our seniors are trying to get by on $15,000 a year. Try it sometime. Half of our seniors are trying to get by on $30,000 a year. When I talk about anxiety and stress, half of older workers between 55 and 65 have virtually no retirement savings at all. And then you hear people talking about cutting Social Security. In terms of education, we used to be the best educated country on earth. We're now falling behind many other countries in terms of the percentage of our kids who go to get a higher education, and many of those kids leave school deeply in debt. So we don't have to harp on the issue, but it's not just a healthcare system that is broken. It is not just the way we treat our seniors, which is abysmal. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. But when it comes to tax breaks for billionaires, not a problem. To folks who say, well, look, we all love Social Security, but we got to save it. The only way to save it is raise the retirement age or cut the benefits, right? What they forget to mention is that right now, if Wendell makes $16 million a year and you make $160,000 a year, you're paying exactly the same amount into the Social Security Trust Fund. So what you have been advocating for years is what we call lift the cap, right? If you lift the cap and you tax all the income of the individual, you know what we could do? At a time, by the way, when the billionaires pay an effective tax rate lower than working class people. If you do that, you can make Social Security solvent for 75 years. So you end the discussion of Social Security not being there for our kids. And the second thing you do is you raise benefits by $2,400.
A year, yeah.
All right.
And that is a bill that should be voted on.
Well, we're going to push it, believe me.
Because,
all right, but it is, again, these
and,
are...
And it would put Republicans in a bind because they don't want to, they're against raising revenue, so they'd be against it for that. They definitely don't want to say they want to cut benefits because, again, their own voters against it. They don't want to offer an alternative. It is the perfect issue to bring up.
Bernie Sanders not holding anything back when it comes to increasing Social Security benefits and the need for $200 more per month or $2,400 more per year on top of whatever you're making with Social Security, and have the fund go an extra 75 years before it becomes insolvent. So that's the Bernie Sanders Social Security Expansion Act. Let me know, is that one of your favorites? There's a few dozen of them now when it comes to Social Security bills. The Social Security 2100 Act seems to be getting the most coverage, though, in the news. Let's get into this. So, 3 big Social Security changes coming in 2025 may surprise many Americans. So let's get into the first one right here. Social Security benefits will get a cost of living adjustment in 2025. So the COLA, what is the latest projection? It looks like it is at 2.7% for 2025. We still have about 4 months left before that number could change, but it is going to be lower than this year. Looks like 2.7% is where it's at right now. And then number 2 is some workers will have more Social Security taxes withheld from their paychecks in 2025. So according to Nationwide, 74% of adults incorrectly agreed with the following statement that workers pay Social Security taxes on all of their income. This statement is false. Is false. Current law caps the income subject to Social Security payroll tax. The maximum taxable earnings is $168,600 in 2024, meaning any income above that amount is not subject to taxation by Social Security program. No one knows why. There's been a few bills to try to raise that to $400,000. Seems to make sense to 99% of Americans, but that 1% making those salaries or higher, maybe a little less than 1%, but they do not want to be taxed more on their income. So usually they say the rich are the ones who make the rules. Well, I mean, this is a perfect example of it right here. Many bills have said, let's tax them higher. It's just not happening. Unfortunately, I think some of these same politicians who are pushing for Social Security change are also getting paid to not have Social Security change. The reason why I think that, there hasn't been a Social Security bill vote in years, or a big change as well. So we have that. Looks like it's going to be going up to $174,000 next year. And then also, number 3, some Social Security recipients will have benefits withheld in 2025. So according to Nationwide, 46% of adults incorrectly disagreed with the following statement that some of your benefits may be withheld if you're still working before your full retirement age. That statement is true. So workers that receive Social Security may indeed have some of their benefit temporarily withheld if they are 1, under full retirement age, and 2, their earnings exceed thresholds known as the Retirement Earnings Test exempt amounts. There is a lower limit that applies to beneficiaries below full retirement age for the full year, and an upper limit that applies to beneficiaries that will reach full retirement age during the year. So that if the amount, if the income passes that threshold, then Social Security benefits will be withheld. So that's what's going on for 2025, what to look out for, and that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi, my name is Bill, and this is the tip of the day. Do you know what you should always know to do? Even though if you can't go travel or anything, you could always try to find something they could do in the area that you're at, or maybe you could probably go visit another state if you have a car or so, and you could go to different places, but it doesn't always have to be traveling to different countries and stuff. But oh my god, but whatever makes you happy, just do it. Bye.
If you want to see the latest Social Security payment schedule, click this video right over here. I also go over the latest hearing on the Social Security Fairness Act held by Senator Sherrod Brown, and he gives a talk about that. So if you want to see the latest Social Security updates, click that video right there for the payment schedule for June, as well as the Social Security Fairness Act. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.